series out on Netflix, and like you have the second season of Quarterbacks, and then that
Yeah,
any given
the receivers.
Saturday and shit. Yeah, yeah, any given Saturday about the fucking bullshit SEC, but no.
Yeah, my boss keeps telling me he's watching them over and over, and he's well, not like the same one, but he's watching the. He started with the receivers and then the quarterbacks, and then any
Yeah, yeah,
given Saturday.
yeah, and then shit, Hard Knocks premiered this week with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, that's right.
That might not be a bad one. I haven't watched any of them yet, but I'll get to them
I hope any
eventually.
given Saturday got the rights from fucking Oliver Stone.
Yeah. One word difference. Yeah. But
Yeah,
they pretty much stole it. So, but.
it's not enough to perform. He wants to make love to the crowd.
Oh shit, dude! I love that movie. Dude,
Yeah,
the one we
it's
say at work all the time is mind-boggling, isn't it?
it's
When
mind
your
bottle.
mind,
Yeah, your mind's in a bottle.
the night time's a
This
dark time.
is going to be a good one to probably not keep me focused, but like you said, every time Blades of Glory is streaming somewhere, I get a chance to watch it. It's still going to be funny, even on mute while we do this. But
Oh hell yeah, you gotta. But yeah, dude, we're recording. If you want to do the intros,
oh, yep. Hold on. Where is it? I should probably be able to fucking do it off the top of my head now, but
no, that's all right.
I always read.
Just improvise, man. You got it. Improvise.
Yeah, I know, but we got to keep it at least a little bit the same every week.
That's true.
All right, ready?
Yeah, brother.
And welcome to the podcast once again. My name is Jaaron. I'm here with my good friend Zach. Zach, say hi.
That's me, Zach Sokol.
This is our podcast where we spend usually a little over an hour of our lives discussing, debating, and ultimately ranking movies of a different category that Zach has come up in his mind. We are not professional critics. We do not claim to be the smartest moviegoers or the smartest people in general. We're just a couple of friends who grew up together, love talking about movies, which makes us a couple of average jives.
Indeed.
This week, out of Zach's brainstorming, he's decided we are going to be discussing of the 1990s Best Picture winners from the Oscars.
I mean,
Those who have not,
we're '90s kids, man. So you gotta.
well, 88, but 7.
We grew up in the '90s. All right.
So some good ones here, some bad ones here. For those who are not familiar with the podcast, we're going to introduce each one and give a little quick bio synopsis of each movie, and then we will delve into our final rankings where we will ultimately give our top 10 in the order that we agree upon or kind of agree upon.
Yeah.
First off, the 1990 movie from the 1991 Oscars, Dances with Wolves, directed by Kevin Costner, written based upon the novel by Michael Blake, starring Kevin Costner, Mary McDonnell, Graham Greene, and it is a soaring epic about an officer in the U.S. Army stationed in the plains and begins a friendship with the Native Americans.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, there's much more to go on about it, but it's 2.5, 3 hours long, so it's can describe it in any other way you can. Oscars, obviously, it won Best Picture. It also won Best Director, Best Writing, Best Cinematography, Sound, Editing, and Music, with Roger Ebert giving it a 4 out of 4 stars. Quote, a what-if movie that imagines a world in which whites were genuinely interested in learning about Native American culture that lived more closely in harmony with the natural world than ever before or ever since.
That's a good review from Raj.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, he goes on about, it's a sweeping epic and a little whitewashed. The main story is about two white people, which really it should have been more about the Native Americans, but that's Hollywood in the '90s for you. So,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But
and yeah, we'll get more into about that Oscar win as we start talking about the movies.
Yeah, yeah. First up on my list is from 1991, winning the 1992 Oscar, Silence of the Lambs, which was directed by Jonathan Demme. Later directed a movie that we covered earlier in the Denzel pod. That's Philadelphia. A little tidbit for you, Jaaron. Jonathan Demme actually directed the episode of SNL featuring Elliot Gould. I thought that was something you might be interested in. So,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
it's
I like Demi's movies. I'd say I'm a Dem head.
damn it's
I
it's yeah. Go ahead.
I usually enjoy Jonathan Demi's movies. I mean, he doesn't really have a particular style that you could, you tune into a movie and say, "Oh, this is definitely a Jonathan Demme movie." He does like to do the close up on the faces a fair amount. So
Yeah,
maybe you could say that's part of his style, but the
that's
storytelling in each movie is really it's pretty different in each one you go along.
well, yeah, that part's true. Yeah, I think it was yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson's the one that always referred to him as the close up king, which I mean, the close ups, POV, that type of stuff. But yeah, he the Silence of the Lambs is based on Thomas Harris's sensational best-selling novel, selling over 10 million copies. The Oscar-winning screenplay by Ted Talley later wrote the screenplay for another Lecter franchise film, Red Dragon. It's starring Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, who both won Oscars for their roles, even though Hopkins only had like 16 minutes of screen time. Yeah, so not he wasn't in the film very.
Controversial.
Yeah, yeah, but it's also starring Scott Glenn and Ted Levine. It's
Yeah,
about an
my
FBI
man.
trainee, Clarice Starling, who seeks the assistance of an incarcerated Hannibal known as the Cannibal Lecter to help capture a serial killer who is deskinning his victims. Your boy Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun specifically mentioned the terrifying qualities of Hannibal Lecter, and Ebert later added the film to his great movies list, recognizing the film as a horror masterpiece alongside such classics as Psycho and Halloween. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's interesting that it falls into the category of horror because in my opinion and other people's opinions who do podcasts and movie reviews and whatnot, it's other than the one scene with the guard, it's
yeah,
really not that violent of a movie. There's not a lot of blood. It's not a lot of slasher details of it. It's more of a suspense thriller.
yeah, yeah.
But
Not really particularly scary, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
like you said,
definitely
suspense.
suspenseful.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, totally.
Totally. And then yeah, well, we'll get into some more of these Oscar things when we dive into the movies.
Yeah,
You mentioned what it won over, and I will definitely at least mention this again that the previous movie that I introduced, Dancing with Wolves, won over my favorite movie of all time, Goodfellas, which looking back on it now seems like a complete travesty, and I think it was kind of met with not a lot of pushback from critics, when it came out, but maybe now, you look back over history like, is that really the best movie of the year? But well, again,
but
I'll mention that again later.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at least, I mean, not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but at least I thought Dance with Wolves was at least good. There's other movies on this list that I don't even think are very good, like let alone shouldn't have
Yeah,
won Best Picture, but we'll mention that. But,
we will definitely be spending a little bit of time, as Zach mentioned. We did text about this previously. We don't want to go down too far rabbit holes about which movie should have won Oscars over these years, and why that is. We're focusing on the 10 that did win, and those are the facts of life.
yeah, yeah.
And I learned it from watching the facts of life. Next up on the list, coming out in 1992, winning the 1993 Best Picture Oscar, Unforgiven, a story about a once ruthless gunslinger being recruited by a young up and comer to make a name for himself and receive a bounty after a woman gets cut up and beat up by outlaws in the town of Big Whiskey.
Yes.
Directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Clint Eastwood, also starring Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, and Saul Rubinek. Written by David Webb Peoples, who I was actually not familiar with, but doing some research, it looks like he also wrote Blade Runner and 12 Monkeys.
Oh,
So
oh,
kind of a sidestep from
yeah,
the sci-fi genre to do it, a western with Clint Eastwood, but won the Oscar for Best Picture, also winning the Oscar supporting actor Gene Hackman. Clint won for Best Director, and the film won for Best Editing. And it won over one of my personal favorite movies, A Few Good Men, which, is probably a good call.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, they went up against just a few good men, but
Not,
also didn't Malcolm X go? That was Malcolm X's year, wasn't it? I think. I don't
I
know.
don't remember seeing that being not. I mean, you're probably right. You're a bigger Denzel fan than I am. So
Yeah, yeah. Everybody knows that, dude. Everybody.
my my favorite review, of course, as everyone already knows by now, Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 stars out of 4 stars, stamping it with his great movie seal of approval,
Mhm.
and says this film internalizes the classic Western theme in which violent men are quote unquote civilized by schoolmarms, preachers, and judges. Men who used to gunsling are now building themselves houses on the prairie in which to settle down as opposed to gunslinging.
Hmm. Nice.
Um, yeah, terrific movie. And we'll get into this all a little later, but we've mentioned already twice. X movie won over X movie. I think this is actually one. I think the Academy nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. The next movie on our list I will introduce is Schindler's List from 1993. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. At this time, he'd only made a couple of films of such serious subject matters, The Color Purple and Empire of the Sun, but hadn't really embarked on a subject quite like this. But he did win his first
Right.
Best Director Oscar for this film. The screenplay was by Steve Zalian, who's becoming an average Jives regular, it appears. So it's
It is.
yeah, based on Thomas Kinley's historic novel Schindler's Ark. Zalian also won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, and it's starring Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, and Ben Kingsley. It's about a man named Oscar Schindler, who is a very charming businessman who becomes an unlikely humanitarian by spending his fortunes made by the World War to save 1,100 Jewish workers from the horrendous Nazi final solution. And
Mm-hmm.
the critic's choice that I chose was Leonard Martin. Maltin, sorry, not Martin, Maltin. Awarded the picture a 4 out of 4 star rating. He described the film as a staggering adaptation of Thomas Kinley's bestseller with such frenzied pacing that it looks and feels like nothing Hollywood has ever made before. Spielberg's most intense and personal film to date. Other Oscars it won, I
Yeah.
believe Michael Kahn won for editing. John Williams won his 80th Oscar, and yeah, just a number of other cinematography. Yeah,
Fucking classic John Williams, man.
yeah, yeah. It's
All
pretty.
timer.
Yeah, it's a pretty harrowing score in
Yeah,
my
it's a
opinion.
powerful movie.
It is. Yeah,
I know it's one of your favorites, or at least one of your
yeah. It's. I
top
was.
5 best movies of all time.
Yeah, it's kind. I don't like tagging it with a favorite because I obviously don't enjoy watching some of the things that happen
Yeah.
in the film. But
No.
it's a very well made, like you said, powerful film that affects me emotionally every time I watch it. Like it doesn't fail, and I think, as you know, I'm kind of drawn to depressing movies, but it's just one of those great films. At the very first time I watched it, I was freaking completely drawn to every freaking scene, and I just. I didn't watch it for years, honestly, because my sister liked it so much. And I was like, dude, there is no. She was like, she liked movies like Titanic and First Wives Club. There's no way this movie's good if she likes it. But
Titanic, that we'll be mentioning a little later
we
here.
will, we will. Yes, yes.
And Ralph. Ralph will make another appearance on this.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I mean, it brings emotions out. I think I've literally only seen this movie twice. Once when I was a little younger, or three times now. Once when I was a little younger, and then just a couple of years ago, when you and I were talking about movies well before the podcast, and we talked about how powerful and how good this movie is, and I'll give it another try, and then most recently I watched it actually with one of my friends who is Jewish, and yeah, he had never seen it before,
Oh,
and
really? Oh, jeez.
yeah, and of course I had to make many Seinfeld references, because they, they have they have an episode pretty much all about Schindler's List and how Jerry's necking, quote unquote, making out during Schindler's List. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more, but a couple of scenes in which it's hard to watch, and the last scene is damn powerful,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that more later here.
Mhm.
So next up on the list, one of everyone's favorite Sunday movies, Forrest Gump,
Yeah. Yeah.
released in 1994, winning the Oscar in '95 for Best Picture. For those who are unaware of this movie, I gave a decent synopsis. I think it is about a dim-witted man named Forrest Gump who tells his life story to people at a bus stop that entails many cultural references, from Elvis to Vietnam and Macintosh, and possibly AIDS. Who
Possibly.
knows? Nobody will ever know.
Question mark? Hey, that's pretty good. That was pretty good though, man. And possibly.
Um,
It's awesome.
directed by a phenomenal director in Robert
Mhm.
Zemeckis.
Yes.
Based upon the novel written by Winston Groom, and the screenplay was by Eric Roth, who has a pretty stellar writing credits to his
He
name.
does.
And The Postman, Insider, Ali, one of your favorites, Munich, and Benjamin Button.
Yes. Another one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oscars obviously won Best Picture, also Best Actor for Tom Hanks, the writer for Zemeckis, writing, editing, and effects. Also, something we'll talk about later. It won over Pulp Fiction and The Shawshank Redemption.
Ouch.
Again, you know,
I heard you exhale like
hindsight 2020, but it did placate to the Academy and to America's hearts,
it did,
considering
man.
how often it's still being played on TBS and TNT and USA, most Sundays, and it's just a good one to have on the screen while you're doing something more entertaining yourself over a 3 hour period.
Oh yeah, I mean it's yeah, it.
It stars Tom Hanks, Gary Sinise, Robin Wright, and Sally Field. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Zach?
No, no, I kind of cut you off. I was just gonna say, I mean, dude, it was a huge hit, and like you
Yeah,
don't mean to repeat what you said, but yeah, it's the standard traditional Oscar winner where some people
right.
probably didn't find Pulp Fiction as that. I
No,
guess
no,
no.
and it's in the research they're doing. Quentin Tarantino told a story a couple of years back how during the '94 year, knowing that these two movies are going to be up against one another and the '95 Oscars, Steven Spielberg actually invited Quentin, Robert Zemeckis, and another director I can't remember to go like quail hunting or duck hunting or something. And on this trip, Spielberg and Quentin were out alone, just kind of chit chatting. And he says, Steven at one point just turned around and said, I think you're going to win Best Writing, but I think the director is going to go to Zemeckis next year. He
Yeah,
just directed this movie called Forrest Gump, and I think it's just going to win the hearts of the Academy. And
and he
Quentin obviously was not a great thing for him to hear, but turned out to be correct. And he did actually win for writing that year. So I would say he won an Oscar that year, but not for directing, which obviously is the primed or the prized award of the night.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
My boy Roger gave it 4 out of 4. Again, like we said, everybody loved it. The best quote that I was able to find in it is, it's a movie, or the movie is more of a meditation over our times as seen through the eyes of a man who lacks cynicism and takes things for exactly what they are. And
Nice.
if you're looking at the movie in that regard, yeah, I mean, they're just telling the events of what happened and putting him in all these different situations that are from Elvis and integration and Vietnam, and it's a lot of hard things are going on in the movie, and it's just this man who's, like I said, is kind of dim-witted, who just sees something and accepts what he's seen as the truth. And yeah, that could definitely play to the Academy's hearts, and obviously it did.
Yes, yes. What did like 6
Next on the
Oscars?
list,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Next on the list for you, Zach.
All right, it's Braveheart from 1995. It was directed by Mel Gibson himself, and this was Mel Gibson's second film he directed after Man Without a Face. And it was written by Randall Wallace. He eventually actually directed Mel Gibson in We Were Soldiers, which I think is a terrific war film. And apparently is almost finished writing the script for the Passion of the Christ sequel. I believe it's called The Resurrection. But
Huh.
yeah, Mel won the Oscar for Best Director. Randall Wallace did not win for Best Screenplay, but I do know it also won Best Cinematography, Best Sound Effects, and Best Makeup. Those were the some of the 5 Oscars it won. But as I stated, it's starring Mel Gibson, Sophia Mars. Oh God, dude, I should have
Come
looked up how to
on.
pronounce these. How do you pronounce Marseille? Brendan Gleeson, Angus McFadden, and Patrick McGowan.
Yeah, with
It's
a cameo of Brian Cox.
That's true. Yeah, he's not in very long, but he's in it. Motivated by the death of his wife, William Wallace leads the Scottish rebels against the ruthless Edward the Longshanks and the English tyranny. I'm not going to go with Roger Ebert this time. I'm going with Gene Siskel, who wrote, in
Okay.
addition to staging the battle scenes well, Gibson also manages to recreate the filth and mood of 700 years ago. And just a little side note, the depiction of the Battle of Stirling was listed by CNN as one of the best battles in cinema history. I know that the movie, I was always under the impression that Braveheart kind of upset Leaving Las Vegas as the Best Picture winner, but as it turns out,
Mm-hmm.
Leaving Las Vegas wasn't even nominated for Best Picture. So
Hmm.
I know that it won a shitload of I think Leaving Las Vegas won like the Golden Globe and the
Yeah,
film
well, I
critics
mean,
and all that shit. But I think I do
Nick Cage's
know,
Oscar too for Best Actor.
yeah, yeah. But I think the Academy, the Oscars, uh, that was the only Best Picture Braveheart won was for the Academy Awards. And
Huh.
I know, like I said, it won against Apollo 13, but I think that's an easy win when you look at the Best Picture nominees. I think Braveheart was the clear cut winner in that one, but hey, that's just my opinion. I know there's a lot of
Yeah, and I
Apollo.
mean, Apollo 13 had it had a chance again because it does kind of. I mean, it tells an American story, and it tells it very well. And again, starring America's favorite actor at the time, Tom Hanks, and
Yeah, yeah,
so I mean, it is kind of surprising, but at the same time, yeah, I do think Brave they got it right. Right, Braveheart was the better film,
yeah, yeah.
and
And that's
I'll always remember the first time I saw this movie in the basement at Eric Lund's house.
oh no shit. Was I
Shout
there?
out to class of '06, Milford High School.
Name dropping Eric Lund. I like it, man.
Name dropping Eric Lund, baby.
Well, I'm pretty sure I was there because I remember watching it there too. So we must have been at the same shindig, bro.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong about that. And I remember you had already seen it before, I believe. And
Oh, dude, by then I was like fucking obsessed with this movie. I used to like bring it
yeah,
over to everybody's house. So like, dude, you gotta fucking
yeah,
watch this movie, dude. You gotta watch it, man. I loved it. I
we're
loved
gonna dedicate 3 hours of our lives to this
it.
as teenagers. I mean, that's a tall
Yeah,
order.
yeah. Oh
Okay,
shit.
moving right along. I'm next, and I have 1996 Oscar Best Picture winner, The English Patient, directed. Yeah, Minghella, I believe, is how you pronounce his name. It is his only directing credit, and he also did the screenplay for it based upon the novel by, I'm going to butcher this last name, Michael Ondegetti.
fucking kill it, man, kill it. I love it.
Yeah, probably
Listen,
not good. Probably not good. It is a story told in a flashback, flash forward sequence style tale of a plane crash victim at the end of World War II. And it centers around a plane that begins the film and ends the film and is kind of telling the epilogue and the prologue of such plane crash. Um, and again, we'll talk more. I actually enjoyed this movie a little more than I thought.
oh shit. Okay,
I'll,
okay.
yeah, I'll be honest. I went in not having high hopes, but it is. There's some. We'll talk about it later. There's some parts that kind of drug along, but I thought it was great storytelling, and Willem Dafoe is always a good.
Yeah, he was great in it. I liked, and I mean Ralph Fiennes
Yeah,
did fine too. So Fiennes
yeah,
did.
he's just fucking weird, man. I don't know. He's weird.
Yeah.
The Oscars that year, it took home quite a bit. Obviously, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Cinematography, Art Direction, Costume, Sound, Editing, and Music. And
Damn.
again, it's worth noting it won Best Picture over the Coen brothers Fargo and Jerry Maguire. So,
Oh shit. I
you
forgot
know,
about Jerry
again,
Maguire.
Fargo,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that was more of America's movie. It was just fun, and
Mm-hmm.
Show Me the Money was a huge pop cultural reference for a long time.
Shit. I think people
Uh,
still say it.
yeah, and Fargo's not one. It's just not an Academy type movie. Like it's similar to Pulp Fiction, right? It definitely has a cult following, and
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I think definitely more rewatchable than The English Patient. But
Yes, totally.
again, one of those years, right? It stars, like you said, Ralph Fiennes, Willem Dafoe, Juliette Binoche, Kristen Scott Thomas, Naveen Andrews, which surprised me. Seeing him in Lost and him having a major role in that TV show, which I actually enjoy thoroughly. And then Colin Firth,
He's an
Roger
actor.
Ebert.
Yep.
I think every single movie I looked up for this, Oscar gave it 4 out of, or Oscar Roger gave it 4 out of 4. No doubtedly, there's probably somewhere in the annals of the internet where you could probably find a couple of these reviews where Roger didn't give it 4 and then went back and rewrote.
Yeah.
But 4 out of 4 stars, it says, or he said, the kind of movie you see twice. First for the questions, second for the answers. Told with a sweeping and visual richness by David Leon, with attention to fragments of memory that evoke feelings even before we understand what they mean.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's good. Like I said, we'll get into it more. I enjoyed it more than I thought, but I can't see myself revisiting it anytime soon.
No, no, and I'll just say it live and on the air. I don't give a crap. Like I pretty much told Jaaron not to even worry about this movie.
Yeah.
So I texted him and I was like, dude, I had to rent it. I couldn't find it on streaming. All I would say is don't worry about renting it because yeah, I mean we'll get
Well,
into this during the ranking, but yeah, I wasn't
and
overly
I
impressed by it.
don't think I would have, but I actually watched it after you said that to me, and
Oh,
I was able to find it streaming.
what shit? What was it on?
Yeah, I think it was either like Max or Netflix.
Oh shit. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, it must have like just came out, like probably the day after you rented it or something. And yeah, it's on Netflix right now.
No. Would you mind PayPaling
So
me for
I
next
was like,
then?
hey, what the hell? I like to watch the movies, and I got 3 hours of time to kill, so what the
Yeah, yeah. Fuck it.
hell? I definitely, and we'll talk more about this. I think is part of what makes the movie better than I thought. The makeup for the burns. Whew.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, I'll give it that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was like, dang, he looks completely mangled and destroyed, and it's probably what would happen if you sustain, third-degree burns over your entire body.
Yeah. Well, you would probably die,
And I
but
think
that's
it kind of
all
set him up to play that role in Harry Potter
right. Oh shit, yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Fuck.
it looks pretty
It
similar,
looks
honestly.
exactly yeah, it does. Must have kept the mask or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I think when they called for Harry Potter, he's like, I got a makeup guy.
Don't worry. Don't worry about
I
it.
know the perfect guy to do this.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Okay, so we're already half hour in. Let's keep moving along. Zach,
Yeah,
what do you got for 1997?
dude. I got the monster epic Titanic in 1997,
Yep.
winner of 11 Oscars. So I'm not going to name all of them, but it was written and
No.
directed by James Cameron, who also got a producer's credit, but was also given an editing credit. I believe he won
Huh.
three
Well, that makes sense.
Oscars. Yeah, he won 3 Oscars out of those 4. So
Jeez.
uh,
Yeah,
it's
he's a
starring.
complete lunatic. So.
Yeah, he is, dude. But it's starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, Billy Zane, and Kathy Bates. Zane Billy Zane has a movie coming out where he plays Marlon Brando. Actually, I don't know if it's going to be straight to streaming or if it's going to get a
Hmm.
theatrical release, but it's called Waltzing with Brando. Honestly, I've seen a preview. It actually looks pretty good. I think he looks good playing Brando, but that's not Titanic related. But fuck it, I figured I'd throw it out there. It's about it's Titanic's about a poor street artist who falls in love with an aristocrat on the maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic. Uh, Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly described the film as a lush and terrifying spectacle of romantic doom. Writer director James Cameron has restaged the defining catastrophe of the early 20th century of a human scale of such purified yearning and dread that he touches the deepest levels of popular movie making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, again, there's pop culture. I mean, I think I went to go see that movie at least 2 or 3 times in theaters.
I actually only saw it once because I got like a migraine in the middle of it, and so I ended up like missing the sinking because I was puking in the bathroom. I was 10, but I mean, I
Oh,
had bad
wow.
migraines when I was a
Wow.
kid, dude. They were no joke. But yes, this
Yeah, you
was
know what else is no joke? Kate Winslet getting painted.
yes, yeah. I think those were the first. That was the
That's
first.
probably the reason I went to go see it so many times.
The first nude scene I believe I ever saw in theaters, at
Yeah,
least.
totally.
Totally.
And one where the parents were like, "Hey, avert your eyes." It's like, "Hey, this is good movie making. Just enjoy
Yeah,
it."
it's an art. She's being painted. It's artistic.
Well, and I was going to wait to mention this until now, but it's also, we mentioned Ralph being in multiple movies during this 90s run of Best Picture winners. Also, Frances Fisher, who also was in Unforgiven and then played Kate
Oh
Winslet's
shit!
mom here in
Yeah, yeah,
Titanic.
absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even think to put her down. I just I liked the 4 that I had, and I was like, I'm not gonna. There's always kind of that. How many do I actually like put down? So I just stuck with those 4. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's great in that movie too.
And rewatching it, that was kind of one of the things that I wrote down that kind of pulled the heartstrings is, she's just trying to make sure her family's taken care of since they're broke. And it's like, I don't care if this man beats you, he's wealthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
But yeah, no, I mean, I did rewatch it, and the last hour is fucking very entertaining, honestly.
yes, it
Like,
is, dude. It's yeah. I mean, it was the fucking biggest movie of our generation, and it was the highest grossing movie of
yeah,
all time for 10 years, and it won 11 Oscars, which tied
yeah,
had the most Oscar wins next to Ben Hur. It tied Ben Hur, and eventually, I think Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I think that also won 11. But for the longest time, I mean
yeah,
that movie was the biggest thing we had ever
for
seen in
sure.
theaters.
And
So,
then, James Cameron came back with Avatar, like, oh yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I'll make even more money this time.
yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, but we don't have to get into
No,
that right
no,
now.
no.
Well, some
And I
other
didn't
time.
see the water one.
No, it was terrible.
Maybe,
I took my
maybe
ex
if
and
we do
the
the
kids for
James
that. It
Cameron
was
pod,
yeah, yeah. I
a
took
James
the.
Cameron pod might not be bad.
He doesn't really have that many movies though. He only makes a movie every. It's kind of like because remember we talked about doing David Fincher. And I was like, well, he's only made 12 movies. Might be hard to do a top 10, but yeah,
Well, that
well,
has the prerequisites. It's 10.
I'll put I'll put that in the good idea folder. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Next up on the list, released in 1998, and in the 1999 Oscars, Shakespeare in Love.
Mm-hmm.
it's it is the story of a young William Shakespeare's inspiration to write Romeo and Juliet. That's about all I wrote down for the synopsis. Written by John Madden, who has no other notable credits to his name as director.
He really does.
Based upon, or written by Mark Norman and Tom Stoppard. The only thing I could find that's really of interest between those two is Tom Stoppard actually wrote the screenplay for Empire of the Sun.
Oh, nice, nice.
Again, yeah. Stars Gwyneth Paltrow, Joseph Fiennes, which I think might be related to Ralph.
I think they are. Yeah.
Jeffrey, I mean, they look very similar, so I'm pretty sure they're brothers or something. Jeffrey Rush, Tom Wilkinson, Judi Dench, and Ben Affleck makes a cameo, which watching it, I was like, hey, a good actor. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oscars, it did win several. Obviously, Best Picture, Best Actress for Gwen, Best Supporting for Judi Dench, Writing, Art, Costume, and Music. And an absolute travesty, as we talked about in our text beforehand.
Yeah.
This won over Saving Private Ryan and The Thin Red Line. Maybe the Academy was just like, we don't want another war movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It is a travesty though.
Pretty disappointing. I mean, Saving Private Ryan is, in my opinion, just a better fucking movie. All
It
around.
is. Yeah, I mean, I'll give credit to the
We'll talk
writing.
about it later.
Yeah, I'll give credit to the
I
writing.
mean, I
Yeah.
I did not enjoy this movie at all.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, okay. Yeah.
No. Roger, 4 stars as always.
Yeah.
He said he was carried along. Well, as all of these 10 movies were saying, he wrote, "Is this a movie or an anthology? Question mark. I really didn't care. I was carried along by the wit, the energy, and a surprising sweetness."
Yeah, it's not a bad review.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, dude, I
Which is a
was
Forrest Gump reference for those who don't.
I was tempted. I didn't want to interrupt you because with the Ralph Fiennes thing, are you related to Ralph Fiennes? No, it's just a coincidence. That was an Office Space reference that isn't anywhere near this list, so don't. Yeah,
No. It should be, but no.
it should. Yeah,
If they had a best comedy at the Academy, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Should yeah. I thought they might be talking about doing something like that, but or like yeah, I don't know. I'm probably talking out of my ass. But then the
I'm
last one
talking
on the
out of my ass.
list, and
Bring it home.
yeah, I'm bringing it home. It's American Beauty, 1999, and that was 1999 was a great year for movies. Actually, probably
Yeah.
one of the best ever. But it was directed by Sam Mendes, who was actually the youngest man to win a Best Director Oscar. It was written by Oscar-winning screenwriter Alan Ball, who actually created one of the greatest TV shows of all time, in my opinion, which is 6 Feet Under. And on the
Oh.
flip side, I think he wrote one of the worst, dumbest TV shows ever, and that's True Blood. I fucking hate that show, dude, with a passion, bro. Either way,
I don't think I've ever seen an episode.
yeah, it's dude, it's an HBO version of
It
like
was
The
a hit.
Walking Dead. Yeah, no, it was huge, but it
Yeah.
was one of those
It
shows
was
where I
huge,
can't
yeah.
stand where like uh you they had to have a cliffhanger at the end of every episode, and I'm like, is that how you get people to keep watching it? Just shock us? Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like we're both fans of like The Sopranos and The Wire, where they don't have fucking cliffhangers at all. It's just good TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
keep coming back because you want to know what happens next, not I will need to find out what happened at the end.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry for that little rant, but yeah. This movie actually came
No.
close to winning the Big Five, which I'll go back to that Big Five: the Best Director, Best Actor, Best Picture, Best Screenplay, and then Best Actress. This movie won Best Director for Sam Mendes, Best Original Screenplay for Alan Ball. Spacey won Best Actor. Actually, you know what, dude? I'm gonna go through who starred in the freaking movie first before I dig too deep into that. But
There you go.
yeah, it's starring Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, who I freaking loved in this movie. I thought she was great. I think it's Thora Birch, uh, also starring Peter Gallagher and Chris Cooper. But yeah, back to the uh, I'll just fuck it. I'll finish this whole thing. It's about a depressed middle aged suburban father who is going through a midlife crisis. He's frustrated in his wife and his infatuation with his daughter's best friend. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun Times awarded this film 4 out of 4 stars. Singled Spacey out as successfully portraying a man who does reckless and foolish things, but doesn't deceive himself. Anyway, I'll go back to the big five like I
Yeah.
was talking about. Spacey won the Oscar for Best Actor. Uh, Again, Alan Ball won for Best Original Screenplay. Uh, Sam Mendes won for Best Director. Obviously, won Best Picture. It's on our list. But Annette Bening, however, did not win Best Actress, which I can't remember who won that year, but I don't know. I felt she should have won. But another movie on the list that actually did win the big five that I didn't mention during the introduction was Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs won
Yeah.
Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. And there was only
Yep. I
two.
meant to mention that in my intro of that movie as well. And they had the first time since Cuckoos. So
Yeah, yeah. And then before that, before Cuckoo's Nest, it happened one night, and that was all the way back in I think 1936 or 35. I can't
right.
remember, but yeah, that's all I had for. I mean, as I mentioned, 1999 was a loaded year, so I mean, uh, it won over The Insider, and The Sixth Sense was another good movie that came out that year. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyways, dude, I think that's the last one, isn't it?
Yeah, we're here. Yeah,
Nice.
we're here. We're ready to get down to the meat of the podcast here. Again, for those aren't familiar, we've now introduced every movie that we're going to be ranking. And the way we usually start this ranking process is one of us will tell the other what we had at 9 or 10, and we'll go on to discuss all the way up to number one, where we will give a final recap and close out the pod. I will go first this time. And
You
at number 10, shockingly, no surprise here, Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah. I mean, I had it at 9, but well,
Okay.
and I think I texted you like the first note I wrote down was, dude, try to not think about Saving Private Ryan when you're watching this freaking movie, dude. Like, just try
Right.
not to be objective. And I didn't mind it so much. Like, I mean, it wasn't great by any means, and I think it was clearly one of the worst on the list. And obviously, I'm a big
Yep.
Saving Private Ryan fan, and me and Dad will be the first to say that Saving Private Ryan's pretty flawed too, but it's a
Sure.
much better movie than Shakespeare in Love. But
Yeah, you two and William Goldman.
yeah, you do.
Very famously wrote a hit piece for Saving
he
Private Ryan.
he butchered that movie, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, I watched it and I found myself scrolling on my phone and fucking around with my dogs and just kind of not it's just not one of my movies, right?
no,
Just
no,
wasn't
yeah,
into it.
totally.
And I think a big part of the reason it won, we've yet to mention the name Harvey Weinstein, but his courting of the Academy and the money he poured into the marketing,
Yeah,
and
he marketing and
he had
probably
he had a,
muscle work and freaking campaigning
right,
the fuck out of this movie. So it's like,
exactly. So, and he was famous for doing that and being able to see results of it. So, uh,
shit,
yeah,
he did it with The English Patient. I mean, fucking 9 Oscars. I
yeah,
mean, in my opinion, that movie definitely wasn't worth freaking 9 Oscars.
no,
I thought it was a fairly typical movie.
yeah. So can I go out on a limb and say you had The English Patient at 10?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay, I figured I had it at 9. So
shit, it doesn't matter to me, man. Fucking
yeah, no,
yeah.
because I did not like the movie. I'm putting it at 10, and we'll do The
Okay,
English Patient at 9.
that's
Because,
fine.
like I said, I enjoyed it more. I after watching all the movies, I had it at 8.
after I specifically told you not to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. So I watched it and I'm like, ah, this is at least, bottom three. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
American Beauty, I'm like, yeah, I'll put American Beauty at 8, English Patient at 9. So
yeah.
I had
Yeah. English.
so I had American Beauty at 8.
I did too. Yeah,
Okay.
and
All right, we're cruising right along in this one.
yeah. I mean, I really did like American Beauty. I just thought it was a little
Yeah,
odd, I guess. And
yeah, which I kind of played into it. And then,
yeah,
taking into account, Kevin Spacey and everything that's happened with him now since its release,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
probably a little tarnished by some people. And, the first scene, the home video kind of talking to the girl, and he says, do you want me to kill him for you? And so it kind of sets up the ending. Going through the movie, I actually didn't remember the ending, didn't remember a lot of the movie. I kind of thought that I thought Reese Witherspoon
Oh, the
was the high
cheerleader.
schooler that Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey fell for. Yeah, and it's so when I started watching, I'm like, oh wow, okay, so I really don't remember this movie at all. And then yeah, I mean the final scene it's heartbreaking.
It is.
Like I said,
Yeah.
it kind of sets it up in the first scene that hey, this is gonna happen, but throughout the movie, I'm like, does it really happen that way? And then yeah, boom, it's that's exactly they told us what they're gonna do and they did it. So
Yeah. I mean, those, you always got to give credit to those kind of movies where, I mean, the way I wrote it down was like, it's kind of like a humorous version of a Kubrick or David Lynch movie, or like
yeah,
a mix between Blue Velvet and Sunset Boulevard, something like that, where it's kind of odd,
yeah.
but yeah, it's, yeah,
But yeah, I thought it was entertaining, honestly.
it was, yeah.
Funny at times, and you kind of see why the Spacey character is having the feelings that he has, and
Hmm.
you know, possibly being fired from his job, and then ultimately being fired. His wife and his daughter both don't really like him, and he's expected to come home and put on this
Which,
happy face and be a dad. And I thought
yeah,
it was. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say heartbreaking, but the
it
scene
kind
where
of, yeah. I mean, it
he comes
is.
home, it's like one of the first ones. They're having dinner, and he's talking about his day. Well, how's your day? And she's like, "What? Just because you have a bad day, we're best friends now?" Like, it's like, oof. I mean, I don't have children, so I can't honestly say what that would feel like, but I'm sure it would not feel good. And then have your wife just absolutely loathe you as well. Like,
Well, yeah, and then you mentioned heartbreaking, and it does kind of hit you when Spacey's talking to, I can't remember the character, the cheerleader, and she asks how he was
hmm
doing, and he like almost tears up and goes, "Wow, it's been a long time since somebody's asked me that question before." Where it's like, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, and to go back, Spacey was great in it, but he, over certain things have happened in his career where now we kind of know, we looked at that performance back then as some
yeah,
approach to, like a brilliant approach to a creepy character, and as it turns out, he's kind of an odd pervert in
yeah,
general. So
yeah.
I mean,
Might not have had to act so much.
yeah, his, yeah, the performance wasn't an actual performance after all. But
Yeah, but I mean, it was fun. Like, they do that performance on the court, and he kind of blocks everything out, and just a spotlight on her. And then afterwards, he's like, "Oh, whoa, no, you come with us. We'll give you a ride." Like, well,
yeah, yeah,
you did great. Like, so yeah, I figured those three would probably be, the bottom three in it. So no surprises here, really. And then seven, I think you might be surprised at what I had there. I actually had Forrest Gump at 7.
that's all right. I had it at 6.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So again, we talked about it briefly. It's just I took maybe 5 notes throughout the entire movie rewatching it. I mean, who doesn't know this movie? If you were born anytime between 85 and 2005, you've seen it a dozen times, and the movie, and the kind of the critically acclaimed version of it and how it did well at the Oscars. But then you look back, how you watch it, it's like, yeah, it's entertaining in the sense that I just want to have it on in the background sometimes. And there are a couple of can't sit here, and
yeah.
the whole gumbo shrimp gumbo, shrimp tacos, shrimp blah, like
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's got
with
so many wonderful, memorable quotes and
yeah, and it's great how they reference so many pop culture events during that time span and kind of integrate it, like the Alabama football scene where he's running, and kind of notice that he has a pristine jersey every time, and everyone
because
else
nobody
is all
touches him. Yeah,
dirtied up because he's never been tackled. Like, um, like I said, and then Elvis, and the reference to Macintosh. I don't have to work with no money. I don't have to worry about money no more. And that's
yeah.
nice.
It just spoke to the
Famously,
it just spoke to the baby boomer generation and kind of
yeah, the
Forrest
soundtrack
was
is all time.
yeah, very yeah. It's a great soundtrack. Yeah, and
And then,
yeah, like we were saying, it was more the traditional Oscar winner. And
sure,
I don't think it's a bad movie, but a lot of people claim
no,
that it's overrated, and I think that some of it just has to do with the fact that they like Pulp Fiction so much. I think that kind of
right,
stems from it, maybe a little objective when, again, it might not even some people don't even consider it the second best movie of the year. So it's with I think Shawshank came out that year too. So, but
yep, and that's
yep,
one of my all-time,
yeah, just
top five,
get
top
busy living
10,
or
maybe
get busy
top
dying.
five of my favorite movies. And again, I think it's just a better told story, and you actually it's better storytelling. You care about you know Red and Andy, and you're going through Forrest Gump. It's like I don't really care, but I care about Gary Sinise's character more. Looking, but
Yeah, yeah.
again, we're spending too much time on number 6 or 7. What did you have at 7 then?
I had Dances with Wolves at 7.
Oh, damn, dude, we're pretty spot on because I had Dances at 6.
6. Okay, yeah. I mean, and again, we both were both huge Goodfellas fans. I think it's one of the
Yep,
greatest movies ever. But dude, I this wasn't a
for
bad
sure.
movie at all. I actually enjoyed
No,
this movie, and I thought Costner was a great storyteller. And uh, obviously, as you said, it's the two main characters are white in a movie based on
right.
the Indian nation and the way the white man has taken over the territory and stuff. But
Exactly. And then it's like, let's make actually the main character a white man, even though we're trying to tell the story of American or Native Americans. I watched it with two of my friends who had never seen it. I had them come over. We had like a movie night.
oh, cool, nice,
Yeah,
yeah,
and they'd never seen it, so it was kind of it's and they're both big outdoors people and love history. So it's like if you've never seen this movie, come over and watch it with me. And
yeah,
the it's I mean, Dances with Wolves, right? The whole time you're like, if you've never seen it, it's like, he's obviously going to dance with wolves at some
yeah.
point, right? Like,
Is this a dancing movie or is this a
you know,
musical or what are we
the
talking about?
little cheesy dialogue, like at the and I
Yeah,
thought it was one part. I thought it was pretty funny here. I wrote down the quote. Hold on, let me find it in my notes because I literally laughed out loud, and the two people I'm watching it with were like, I mean, yeah, it was kind of funny, but he says at one point, or he's talking to a guy at one point, and it says, where is it here? Oh shit. Oh well, maybe it was Unforgiven, but it was something about I woke up and thought I had died. Turned out I was just in Nebraska.
no, that was Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. Yeah,
Ah, okay, yeah, okay. I
I
thought that
laugh
was
at
so.
it.
Yeah, I'll mention. I should have saved that for later, but I thought thinking about it, I thought it was dances, but
Even
no.
being from Nebraska, I like that quote. So
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious because it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, like I almost spit water out of my mouth.
but yeah,
But
my
no,
kind of
I mean it's a great movie. Won a ton of Oscars. Obviously, it's
yeah,
like we've mentioned so many times already before, and we will here soon again. It's an Academy type movie,
yeah.
and
It's a compelling
writer,
story surrounded by like
yeah.
mesmerizing scenery, and I was actually generally
Oh, dude,
impressed with the cinematography and some of like the magnitude of some of the scenes. Now, granted, as far as scenery go, I know Mother Nature deserves some credit, but it was still like
it's true.
it's a good
But
movie.
still, it's the art direction, the camera, and The
Yeah, yeah.
sweeping views. I mean, just
Mhm.
so many times they're just looking over the plains, and it's like, damn, yeah. Like you said, Mother Nature obviously deserves some credit alone too. But and then they're when they're first talking about Buffalo and Tatanka,
Yeah, Tatanka.
Tatanka, like I'm sitting there with my friends. I'm like, how fucking hard is it to repeat something? Like he says Tatanka. How can you not say Tatanka? And like Buffalo. You could
Yeah,
tell me a Spanish or a Russian word right now, and you just say it to me. I'm pretty sure I could get pretty damn close of repeating it back to you. Like,
but shit, man, you're college educated,
but I thought so.
Yeah.
Exactly, educated.
Educated.
One quick story I found in the research I thought was fascinating. And actually, talked about it with my boss the day after I watched it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen the interview, and it was so crazy." So Kevin Costner just apparently approached a random rancher in the plains who had buffalo and just said, "Hey, I'll pay you X amount of money to just let us chase them around for 3 days."
Hmm. Nice.
And after 3 days of chasing them around and not actually hurting any of the buffalo or killing any of them, apparently on the third day the buffalo just stopped running from them. like like the bison were just like, "All right, I've had enough. You scared us at first, but
No, yeah, you got us
just
this
yeah,
time.
not
You ain't gonna get us this time.
right." Yeah. And then another fun fact, apparently Costner's parents like purchased an RV or had an RV or rented an RV and literally just kind of sat upon a cliff while they were shooting the whole time and just watched like the entire shooting of the film. And Costner would like just have lunch with them every other day or something. I thought that was neat. Thought it was a good little tidbit in the research that I had. So yeah, okay. We've got the lower five on it. So let's recap here real quick. Number 10, Shakespeare. 9, English Patient. 8, American Beauty. 7, Forrest Gump. And 6, Dance with Wolves. Are you okay with that order, Zachary?
Ooh,
Oh, sorry, Zachariah.
yeah, Sakurai. Oh, shit. I don't know, man. That's actually pretty tough between which Forrest Gump or Wolves.
Yeah, like I said, I'm open to either. I don't mind. I think they're interchangeable at 6 and 7. It's not like we're arguing 1 and 2
No,
here. So
no, yeah, yeah. I
if you
would
want to
say,
switch them, I'll be fine to switch them.
yeah. I just think
I just
Forrest
thought
Gump
Dances was
with
just a
like,
more of a sprawling epic, and like I said, the views. I thought it was great, and some of the language barrier stuff in the movie I thought was pretty realistic. Like it would fucking take a long time for people to learn a Native American language and an English language, and it's a lot of times in movies they'll just jump right into it. Now these two people can communicate after 30 minutes of screen time, like.
yeah, yeah. Huh.
But again, the whitewashing and whatnot. So I'm happy with either or. You tell me. What do you want at 6? What do you want at 7?
Yeah, I'm just with Forrest Gump is like a it is a little more beloved, and I like we
Sure.
both rewatched it 100 times, and I'm not saying rewatchability is what makes it better than
No.
Dances. I mean, I would still say that Forrest is probably the superior film in my opinion. So
Yeah, probably a little more entertaining. You definitely
yeah,
laugh more, and it's like, oh, well, this one part's coming up. Oh, this scene's coming up. Where he drinks.
yeah,
I gotta pay, like
yeah, and
or
and in
the
the end,
Nixon.
I will probably say that unlike Wolves, I honestly don't think Pulp Fiction overshadows Forrest Gump. Like when people think of I mean, whenever people think of Dances with Wolves, I mean, my every time that movie got brought up before the pod, I was like, well, fucking Goodfellas should have won. That's always like my first thought. I
Yeah,
was like, well, Goodfellas should have won
yeah,
Best
totally.
Picture. So I mean, but
Yeah,
I don't honestly. You can think that about Forrest Gump, but you can like, yeah, you can talk about Forrest Gump separately. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm
for
just
sure.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make any sense, but anyway, I'm more in favor of having Gump at 6 and Wolves at 7.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. That works for me. Um. All right. So I've been giving you my list here. So how about you hit me with your number 5? What do you got? Hit me.
Dude, surprisingly, as much as I consider this movie like the greatest movie of all time at one point, but I got Braveheart at 5.
Oh, okay. I had it at 4. So
Okay. Well, and here's the thing is like the reason I have Titanic at 4 and not Braveheart is because, dude, Titanic is kind of a cinematic masterpiece. Like it's a very impressive film, and we couldn't say that when we were younger because if you liked Titanic when we were kids, you were quote unquote gay. But I mean,
yeah,
over the
right,
years, that's changed. I mean, when we were kids, gay meant lame. It didn't mean the same thing. So
right, right. It's like, oh, you're gonna go watch a movie where it shows boobs? You're gay.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
which
I
looking
mean,
back on it, it's like that doesn't even really make sense. Like,
no,
just
but
because
well,
it's a
because
love
remember,
story.
dude, Titanic's success mostly had to do with Leonardo DiCaprio and the fact that it was like a
Right.
disaster movie. You know what I mean? Like that's where the
Yep.
success came from. So if you like Titanic, you like, yeah, it just wasn't the cool thing. But as an adult, dude, watching it, especially if you watch like the behind the scene footage, it's even more impressive that Cameron was able to organize and freaking direct this massive production where they literally pretty much rebuilt the ass end the stern of the Titanic and like he had
Hmm.
every freaking detail and shit. I mean, and Leo and Kate Winslet's performance is not great, but I thought Leo was pretty good in it, and it is a
Yeah. Oh,
pretty
fantastic, man.
yeah. I mean, and it is sad. It's a sad freaking film,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, and and half the time it's like, well, not half the time, but during almost every scene where Leo is someone's trying to degrade him or insult him, he just
Just takes it.
completely deflects,
Yeah,
and it just he's like, well, that's just how I live my life, Cal. And
yeah, yeah.
it's just yeah, it is a wonderful performance. It's his, he was in Growing Pains and Gilbert Grape and everything, but I think this was his like, oh shit, this kid he's gonna go places,
Yeah, for
and it's
sure.
he's gonna be a name that we're gonna talk about for a long time, and we have. I mean,
Hmm. He's still a freaking
it's yeah,
big movie star, dude.
and it's and like I said, yeah, the first half is pretty sappy. Well, I mean, the first 30 minutes it's fun, where it's you're getting introduced to all these different characters, and how they win the poker game in order to even get on the ship, and you're going through and you're seeing how each kind of level of human is living on the Titanic, and the difference between the Irish people who are in the lower, and even though with the workers, pushing coal into the fire over and
Right.
over,
The
and
attention to detail. Yeah.
and then it gets sappy for about an hour. They're falling in love, and oh, we can't be together, and Cal and this and the mother, and but then the last hour, like holy shit, honestly, I forgot how damn entertaining. I think I'm sitting there taking notes. I think I did 3 whole pages of notes while I was watching, and
Yeah.
the
This
last
was.
hour, the last hour, I did like a page and a half, 2 pages on. It's just, I mean, it's damn entertaining. It
Yeah.
really is.
It's tragic. Yeah. I mean, it's impressive. It's entertaining. It's got. I mean, like I said earlier, it's just a cinematic masterpiece, really, and it was quite the theatrical experience for you as it probably was to me. Like we had never seen. I mean, obviously Jurassic Park had great CGI, but you brought to life one
right.
of the most tragic disasters in world history, and so it was pretty impressive. But and one of my
Yeah, I mean, and,
what I was gonna how I was gonna justify having it at 4 was if you were gonna line up all these Best Picture winners and tally the winners in each Academy category, I believe Titanic would come out at number 1. And I understand that it won
oh
11 Oscars, but like,
yeah,
you, I mean, you can even give credit. I mean, I'll give Spielberg Schindler's List for Best Director, but you can even say Cameron would probably even be a runner up for that category. I mean, it's just, yeah,
yeah. Well, and he completely became obsessed with Titanic,
yeah.
and just the story of it and the mystery behind it, and
He still kind of is.
actually
He's,
devoted not just like 1 or 2 years of his life, but fucking years and years
years.
of his
Yeah,
life just
yeah.
surrounded with the mystery of it, and the
Multiple
I
visits
mean, it was
to,
the biggest thing that would happen in the world in 1918, right? I mean, like World War II or
yeah,
World War One, it ended, or 1912. I'm sorry.
Yeah, World War I
I
hadn't
mean,
started
it
yet.
was the biggest story, and it still is one of the biggest mysteries. And then we would be remiss if we didn't at least touch on the whole controversy around could they have both fit on the door that Rose was
No, I
floating
don't.
on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they could have, but
I deep dived into it one time with I don't know, some random online person like mapped out everything. There was enough surface area for both of them to fit, or they could have switched on and off. But like, yeah, surface area is one thing, but weight is another thing. Like, there's just no way two bodies could have fit on
you're
that and not
well,
have the
and
door sink into the water. Like,
in the yeah, your arms are fucking frozen, dude. You're not climbing up, rotating like that's fucking stupid, dude.
yeah,
You're dude like in that water temp because me and the ex and the kids went to the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri, and you actually got to put your hand
oh
in the temperature of the water that the water would have been when the Titanic sank. And they said, dude, you only live for like 20 minutes, but it is a peaceful death.
yeah,
So yeah, this whole get on the boat, like no, it's just he wanted
no,
her to live, so
exactly.
it's just the way the cookie
In the
crumbles.
whole "I'll never let go" and then she lets go. It's like they're talking metaphorically, people.
I
I'm
even
never gonna
think,
let go of your memory, Jack.
yeah, yeah,
Not I'm never gonna let go of your frozen dead body. Like, come on, let's be real. What are we doing?
yeah. I think as a 10-year-old, I was like, "What? She let go."
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think we all said that. It's like, so she was just a bitch, right? Like,
So
she was just lying to him the whole. I'm never gonna let you go. Oh well, I'm gonna let you sink to the bottom of the ocean.
but
um.
are you good
Anyway,
with it at
yeah, yeah.
four? But I would like to talk
I
about Braveheart a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, I'm good with it at 4. I actually had Unforgiven at 5, Braveheart
Oh
at 3.
shit! Wow, wow.
So
Damn, man.
I know, and I'm not a huge Braveheart guy, but again, rewatching it,
I mean, it's
well, for one, the Braveheart, the first part where he's a child lasts much longer than I remember.
yeah. I
Like
mean,
in the first part of the story, I mean, it's like a good 30 minutes. When I thought it was just like a good 10 minutes, you know, father and brother die. He goes into the house, sees all the dead guys. Brian Cox takes him away, and it's like 10 minutes. But no, that's like a 30-minute fucking scene.
yeah. It's the first. I mean, the whole first act is him as a child, basically. But
Right.
yeah, I just yeah. Excluding, I mean, yeah, it has it's a long movie, so it's got probably scenes last a little bit longer than it should. But of course, dude, I loved this movie so much growing up, and
Yeah.
obviously my taste has evolved over the years. I've seen other movies, and I know one of the things I'm just going to point out, and I firmly believe this, that they don't make the fucking Lord of the Rings franchise, they don't make Gladiator, or they don't do the Game of Thrones TV show if it wasn't for Braveheart.
Hmm.
The success that it had, Gibson's approach to
Yeah.
making it was kind of inspired by Orson Welles' Chimes at Midnight. I tried watching that movie a long time ago, but the dubbing is so bad in it, I can't fucking stand it,
Oh,
dude.
really?
Yeah, it is. So I've never finished it. I've watched like the combat scenes and stuff from it, uh, and of course, not just that, but he drew. I mean, he loved the epics when he was growing up, like I did. He was a big Spartacus fan, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to give Gibson credit for bringing that genre back to life. The epic sword
Definitely. Yeah.
sequences, battle sequences, and but
Well,
yeah,
I think the part of the reason I had it at 3 and Unforgiven at 5 is because I thought you were going to have it at 3 or so, and I know how much you love the movie, and again, rewatching it, like it is a fucking great movie,
yeah,
and
it's inspiring, dude. It's
for
freaking
one thing, Murrin is gorgeous. Like,
yeah.
I forget the name of the actress now. I have it written somewhere in my notes, but I was like, man, God, I mean, and they do a good job of makeup where
Yeah, won the Oscar, dude.
people in that time didn't fucking shower regularly. And it's one of my biggest nitpicks in certain movies is it's like people back in these times weren't fucking perfectly clean. They were gonna have dirt on themselves. Their hair was gonna be ratty. Like,
Well, and
and they
another
did a great job of that. I mean, I thought it was, yeah, it was incredibly entertaining.
Well, and another,
And then you could go through, certain things about, well, Mel Gibson's kind of tainted now, similar to like a Kevin Spacey thing, where now everybody kind of looks back at his movies that not only he directed, he acted in. It's like, oh, should we really give this man praise? But, I think you and I are able to kind of separate the reality of a
yeah,
person and their on screen performances.
yeah, it's a very inspirational movie, and Gibson gives a great performance. And going back to what you were saying, one of the things that I liked about it was after battle sequences, they had scars, they had fresh scars on their
Yeah,
face, like that wasn't
exactly.
a thing back in past movies of this genre. But and in the end, dude, I still the Battle of Sterling still freaking gets me jacked up, man. It's a fucking
Yeah,
adrenaline rush every time I watch it, and it's the
for
same
sure.
thing at the end of the movie when uh,
Oh, yeah. The
Amos
freedom.
throws the freaking sword and that freaking bagpipe music. James Horner score comes on. And I always get freaking goosebumps, dude. It still like never
Yep.
fails after all these years.
Yeah.
I don't
And I
know.
mean, the betrayal from the Earl, Bruce. And,
Yeah, it's motherfuckers, man.
and honestly, I forgot that I forgot that happened. I was like, God, there is somebody. I think as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, I know who's behind that mask. You know what I mean? Like,
Right? Yeah,
and
yeah.
in any half intelligent moviegoer would be, able to kind of put that together. But, when he does take it on, Mel Gibson tackles him off the horse and it's like, damn, you could just see it in Mel Gibson's eyes. The performance there is almost
Mhm.
even better than the freedom scene,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's just so like, how could the man that I trusted that said he was going to do and just completely betrayal.
Right, right.
I thought that was great. I mean, and then obviously the freedom scene,
Hmm.
where he gets decapitated is, it's like, and then you got Brendan Gleeson and, the other guy watching. And real quick with that, the other guy, again, I forgot his name, but the Irishman, fucking hilarious, man.
Oh yeah,
Like,
dude.
he he kind of stole the show in certain scenes, especially when he kind of first joins and the other Irishman's going to kill William Wallace and he comes back and he's just like,
Yeah,
"Nah, I
that's
never
another
really
thing.
liked him anyway."
He wasn't
It's
right
like,
in the head. He goes,
yeah, it's like, so I'll be able to kill British. Excellent.
ah, yeah. Yeah. Stephen is my name. But yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Did you just talk me into putting Braveheart at 3? I think you might have.
I mean, I could.
Well, let's talk
So
about
so okay,
Unforgiven
if
and
you
see
had
where we. Yeah, let's because I have Unforgiven
so
at
if
3. That's where I have Unforgiven.
okay, I think we might argue about 1 and 2, but I figured since you had Braveheart at 5, Titanic 4, I knew Unforgiven was going to go at 3 for you.
Yeah.
And I and this goes again in rewatching the movies, in my original ranking of it, I did have Unforgiven before Braveheart, but then rewatching them, you know, some of the things in Unforgiven, I would say I disliked, but one thing that stood out in the dialogue for me is they say over and over and over again, this woman got her eyes cut out. No, she didn't.
Well, you know how that is, rumors and all that
Yeah.
bullshit.
I mean, they say it like 3 or 4 times. It's like,
They cut her
oh,
tits
some woman got her
off.
eyes cut out. And
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
like show her, she has both of her eyes.
yeah. Wear a veil or
But then,
something.
the scene with Gene Hackman, kicking the shit out of English Bill or English
Yeah,
Bob,
Richard Harris. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, whoa, damn. And it's good storytelling. It's good character building where this man really does rule with an iron fist.
yeah.
And
Right.
he's not to be fucked with in this town of big whiskey. But I think it's just a kind of a classic formula, and
Well,
back
here's
then maybe it wasn't so as cliche, but it's the old man who quit the game, and now there's this young buck who's coming in, and hey, you want to do this? No, it's like, oh, I didn't figure you lose your steam or whatever, and then kind of rides off, and then the old man's like, oh no, I will go do this.
well the thing. Well, I'm gonna kind of go against what you said. I think that
Okay.
it's it's really not a traditional Western because the former outlaw is so reluctant to get back into the game and pick up his gun and put his boots on. And he's obviously just like a heartbroken, but also remorseful cowboy who's caused a lot of chaos and pain. And I just don't think you saw that a lot in the traditional Western. Like, even if
Right.
John Wayne was a retired outlaw, he was still the freaking badass, like, oh, all
Yeah.
right, Pilgrim, I'll get my
So you're
gun.
saying
You know what I mean?
when they show him kind of slipping in the hog pen and
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
can barely even get on the horse at one point.
Yeah. And you can tell, as he even says,
Yeah.
his horse hasn't quite forgiven him for some of the shit that he put him through. But,
Well, and I think it's and it could go either way, but the fact that they talk about Will being such a ruthless, stone cold killer so many times throughout the movie, and Morgan Freeman references it to the kid, and there's stories of, oh yeah, Will just murdered so many people in his day and had no remorse, and we don't get to see that in the movie, obviously, until the very end.
yeah, till the very end. Yeah. And but
But
it's like
I
you
mean, I
said,
wish they would have had just, I don't know, about maybe some flashback scenes, or maybe the first couple of scenes in the movie where you actually get to see Clint Eastwood do these things. Maybe would have. I'm not saying the movie's bad by any
no,
means,
no,
right?
no, I'm
It
not
is
picking up
it
that
is a fucking
vibe.
fantastic,
Yeah.
entertaining. It's like that's got to, and how sad, for him to now have a wife who's passed on and these kids back. Again, he just leaves his like 10-year-old and 7-year-old alone.
Yeah. But that's shit. That's how it was
You got to
back.
think they died. You got to think they died.
Well, remember they said if you guys are having problems, go to Sally Two Trees. So I'm sure if they
Yeah.
got too
Oh yeah.
hungry, they would
Okay.
just go over there. Yeah, but
That's true.
yeah, one of
But
the
then, yeah,
reasons.
it's like, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one of the reasons I had it so high on my list was I think it could be because of my opinion of the state of cinema right now. There's absolutely like nothing flashy about this movie at all, but it's still, other than the scenery,
Yeah.
but then again, it's a Western. So it's like, but it's still a
Yep.
fucking great movie, dude. Like, I appreciate
Beautiful.
just that simple. And as you were mentioning the backflashes, I just don't think that would have worked for this. I just think we need to like use our own imaginations, and you see enough of it at the end where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
he's obviously kind of drunk right now, and I think that's the Jekyll and Hyde.
Hmm.
I don't like to use that expression because it's a Western, but it's also I didn't know what else to say. So, but it's yeah, that
Yeah.
that switch turns on. That switch turns on in him was after
Yeah.
he's probably had like 10 shots. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
that rage
Well,
and
and they
builds
got
up.
they're just presenting Morgan Freeman's dead body like right out in front of the fucking
Yeah, that pisses him off even
the bill.
fucking.
It's
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and again, that scene where they're whipping him was kind of, I don't know, heartbreaking or powerful. I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, it definitely struck some emotions. But you never actually saw him die, and I thought there was a scene where we actually saw Morgan's death, and he had a good death scene. But I don't. Maybe if they'd shot it and then just never,
yeah, maybe a
they,
deleted
they
scene
just
or
they
something.
cut it, and then some nitpicks is another reason I kind of put it down at the very end. He walks in this bar with 20 guys and he's ready to kill, and he's got the anger in his eyes. He's got a 6 shooter and a fucking shotgun or rifle with them. After and I think he shoots 7 bullets out of that 6 shooter. I rewound it twice.
Well, I mean
But
that's yeah. Now you're being picky. Yeah, that's too much. Now you're being
well, now I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking.
now you're being greedy. Now you're being
Now you're being greedy.
greedy.
um,
But I honestly,
it's like, well, damn, there were 20 of them in there. You're saying that they couldn't kill this one guy, but I get it. Man on a mission.
yeah, I think he was going in there to die too. I don't think he cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey, that
so
liquid
that's kind of
courage. Yeah.
a little, well, that too. And again, I don't know if you remember being drunk, but you can't really shoot that accurately. um, so I mean, so those are the reasons. I thought it was a fantastic. The first shot of the movie is extraordinary. With the cabin and the digging the grave, and it's just that beautiful landscape, and so just literally from the jump, it's like, okay, this is going to be a pretty epic western.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a big western fan. I mean, I liked the newer True Grit. I've seen the older True Grit. I like it. I really dig 310 to You, but I'm not a big Western guy, so I think maybe
Yeah.
that also kind of played into me putting it below Titanic and Braveheart. Not that I'm a big, Scottish guy either, but
Yes.
the battle scenes in
Are
Braveheart
sick.
alone
Yeah.
are fucking
Yeah.
entertaining as hell.
But
And
yeah,
then the one I don't think we mentioned in Braveheart, it still got me. I knew it was coming, but when the Irish and the Scottish are running toward each other and then they just
they
stop and shake
stop.
hands, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking fantastic. That's fantastic. So okay, anyway, back to the list here. So, people listening, this is the point of the pod. And when I go on and on about movies, maybe I convinced Zach to switch Braveheart for Unforgiven. I don't know. We're gonna find
You
out
have.
here.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
swap
So
it.
so we're gonna put Unforgiven at 5, Titanic 4, Braveheart 3, and now for the finale of the pod. I don't know if we're gonna agree on this or not, but I knew these two would be the top two.
Yeah, me too.
I just wasn't sure where you were going to put each one because I know your affinity for Schindler's.
Yeah.
What what did you have it to?
I had Silence of the Lambs at 2.
Yeah, I knew
And,
it.
and,
Yeah,
and dude, I really do like Silence of the Lambs. This was one of those movies that, like, I kind of always try to, uh, if I've seen the movie 1,000 times, I'll usually turn it on as like inspiration, but I won't, since we're not
hmm
deep diving. We have a tendency of kind of deep diving movies sometimes, so that's because we like the
yeah,
movie. That's just kind
right.
of how we are. But I usually just turn it on. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. Okay, yeah, yeah. And so I just start jotting everything down. And I wrote a good amount about Silence of the Lambs. And
Yeah,
uh, yeah, and it's
I
just the
mean,
movie. I couldn't stop watching it, dude. Like, it was one of those where I said, you know what, dude, I got a lot of movies I need to write down before the weekend, because for those listening, I work the weekend shift and I don't have time to watch movies during those days. But so I was like, okay, I'll do Silence of the Lambs, I'll do this, but I just could not stop watching Silence of the Lambs, and I'm not. Obviously, that's not going to catapult it to number one or anything, and I do think it's a awesome movie, but obviously, I think you probably knew what you had a
I
good,
did.
yeah,
I did. I knew it. I
yes,
thought maybe you might throw me a curveball, but
no,
I I knew. And I mean, we texted right away. I mean, I think, and we've been pretty spot on this entire, between our two lists. It's either
right, yeah,
one or two was one, and three was five, four was
yeah,
three, and we
yeah,
we haven't really had a big discrepancy in our listing here. I think this might be the first time that we haven't had like an 8 and a 4 or something.
yeah, because usually we have to split the difference at least one pod.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We've been pretty on point with each other for this. Yeah, I mean, Silence. I probably watch Silence of the Lambs at least 3-4 times a year. It's just one of those where I'm
yeah,
like, if
it's
I want a suspenseful movie to just put on, and again, I've seen it so many times where I'll zone out in different parts and I'll start scrolling on my phone or cook dinner or something like that. But it's one of my go tos, and honestly, it's a good fall asleep to a movie for
oh
me.
really?
And
Huh,
I know I've
interesting.
mentioned that a few times on the pod. It's just so much dialogue,
Right, right,
right?
yeah,
There aren't a lot of gunshots. There's not a lot of yelling. Do they have scenes? Yes, where Catherine, get me out of this hole, you fucking bitch! Like, you know, but I mean, for 90% of the movie, it's just very calm,
yeah. You're
dialed
right.
in
You're right.
dialogue, and
And
it's a bunch of talking, and
yeah,
it's
yeah. You're asleep by the time it like picks up. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I put that on, I'm asleep within 20-25 minutes. There have been times where I put it on and I'll just get kind of sucked into it, and then I'll end up watching the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
And
dude, I get the same way,
now it's
man.
like 1 a.m. I'm like, God damn it, I have to go to bed. But yeah, I mean, we talked about with Jonathan Demme, the close up, the face shots, Hannibal Lecter's creepiness, and I'm a big dialogue guy, and I love it. There's not a lot of cheesy one liners in this, or if someone were to watch it today, they could almost like say what the next part of the dialogue is going to be. I hate when I
Yeah,
watch movies and I know what the next, sentence is, what the next line's going to be. I
yeah,
hate it.
or yeah, the next scene. Shit,
And I
like
thought,
yeah, yeah.
and it's good casting, right? I thought it was really, this time watching it. Obviously, when we watch these for the pod, I'm kind of more tuned in to everything. I thought it was great in the first couple of scenes with with the character Clarice, jogging by men, being in the elevator with men, standing
Yeah,
around men. Everybody's taller. Everybody's looking down. It just kind of builds that character where she's just going against big, tall, strong men, and that speaks for women in the FBI. It speaks for women in general. Trying to catch a killer. Fucking Ted Levine is 6 inches taller than her, so that kind of
mm-hmm. Wait, is she a big fat
um,
person?
is she a great big fat person? And it's
um,
funny to note that Ted Levine fucking after this movie he did a hard left turn in every role. Every like
right, yeah, because he
now
didn't
he's
want
played more cop and people of authority because
to
he's just like, I'm not being typecast as a fucking weirdo.
yeah,
Like,
fucking weird.
and he's a decent supporting character in one of my favorite films, Heat. So
Yeah,
he just he took a hard left in it, which I thought was probably pretty smart, on his part as an actor. I don't know if his agent was like, dude, you were great, but don't do that again.
yeah. Would you fuck me? I'd
You're
fuck
kind of too good at being weird.
you. Yeah, you're too good. Yeah, dude.
um,
But yeah,
but
yeah,
and again, it's got the top 5 Oscars that year.
yep.
Again, have
The big
hadn't
five.
been
Yeah,
done since Cuckoos, so
and you
that's a
add
big
in
achievement.
add in Howard Shore's harrowing score, and I think it's one of the best
Oh,
films in the
dude,
last 50 years, dude. I think it's
yeah.
yeah. I'm not slamming it. It's just having it
And
at two. I
I
just
think
yeah.
we
Go ahead.
we argue this a few times during these pods. It's what's more watchable, what's more entertaining, or what's a better movie, right? We always kind of I struggle with that, and I I'm not going to argue with this. I do think I'm fine with putting Silence at 2, Schindler's at 1. I think we have our list, but to me, like, and I'm not saying it's enjoyable to watch Hannibal Lecter eat some dude's face and then put it on his face and then
It's pretty badass actually, but
but it's well, yeah, it's you watch Schindler's List. At no point am I like, this is badass.
yeah, right, right.
Like,
I
there's
mean,
nothing where I'm like, damn, oh yeah, I fucking love this. Like, no,
but here's the way every scene in Schindler's List, like Spielberg does something that I'm like, dude, I freaking love how the lighting, the way, like, even just how the candle is the only colored piece in the scene, and then it freaking
the girl with
extinguishes,
the
and then
red jacket.
yeah, the girl with the red jacket, the every like yeah, I love every choice that he made, and this isn't me saying, "Oh, if I directed it, that's I like it because that's what I would have done." No, no, dude, it's just
Yeah,
fucking great. It's it's every scene is fascinating to me in some way, and my defense of having it at one is, I think a lot of critics and film groups like AFI or internet influencers, YouTube channel all have this usually in their top 10 greatest of all time. And so for the 90s pod, I think it's the obvious number one. And most people consider this Spielberg's greatest directorial achievement. And with Spielberg making so many great films, I would, if it's a top greatest Spielberg movie, then it's probably one of the greatest movies ever made. I just, yeah, it was kind of like my case when during our practice pod with North by Northwest. If it's one of Hitchcock's best movie, or if it's his greatest
yeah,
movie, it's probably one of the greatest ever made. And that's where I
right.
stand with Schindler's List.
Well, and then real quick for a second, when you were talking about AFI and Internet Bomb, if you were gonna say Rotten Tomatoes, my head was gonna
No.
explode. But
Yeah, no, no.
I loathe Rotten Tomatoes. And it's funny. Well, I was just talking as we were watching Schindler's List. Like, my buddy that was over here with me, who's a Jewish guy, we're watching. He's like, what did Roger? And I'm like, oh, obviously Roger gave this 4 out of 4. And he's like, well, where's Rotten Tomatoes have it? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, those are just idiots in a basement somewhere. And if you get enough of them that give a movie a high rating, it's going to go up. And it's like, yeah, but these people don't actually know what good movies are or even know what they're fucking talking
Yeah, yeah.
about.
I just do for some reason I pictured you doing it in like Smokey's voice from Friday. I don't give a fuck.
and then real quick, because there are more things I want to say about the movie itself, but correct me if I'm wrong, there was a non-Jewish director who was actually set to direct this film originally,
Billy
or am I thinking
Wilder
about a
wanted to
different
direct it.
Spielberg?
No, that
What's
was
that?
Billy Wilder
Was
was
that Munich?
actually. Oh God, maybe I don't know, but I know Scorsese was supposed to direct this at one point, but him and
Okay, yep,
yeah,
I think that's right. And then Spielberg was going to direct a different movie, and they
Fear
were like,
they
"Hey,
swapped. Yeah, yeah,
right, yeah, let's switch." Oh, yep, you're 100% correct. Because I
yeah,
don't think, I mean, it wasn't mentioned on our Scorsese pod, but I thoroughly enjoy the movie Cape Fear.
yeah. I
It's
don't,
it's
dude. I
definitely not
saw.
a it's not one of his best
Yeah,
well made. Obviously, it was left off of our top 10. But could you imagine Steven Spielberg directing Cape Fear?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like because I remember actually he specifically called out these two movies, and probably for a reason. But Denzel in an interview said that. I mean, I know Scorsese was supposed to direct Schindler's List, and Spielberg was supposed to direct Cape Fear, which it's or no, I think in the interview he said Spielberg to direct Goodfellas, but it was like, and I'm sure they both would have made good movies, but they both like
Sure.
they made the right choice because it's a culture thing.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg's Jewish,
Well, and that's what I
Scorsese's
was gonna
Italian.
say. It's like
Yeah,
you can't have a non-Jewish person directing Schindler's List. I mean,
yeah, I
he
agree, and I
Scorsese definitely would have. I think he would have like tapped into Spielberg, like, "Hey, what should I do here? Hey, do you think this is accurate? Do you think this is kind of?" I don't know if he ever used the word culturally sensitive or anything, but
yeah,
I think it just would have been such a different movie. It probably would have been great. I
it
think
would have been
it
good.
still would have
Yeah,
been a fantastic movie, but I just think, yeah, I mean, they made the right call. It,
hmm
it worked out exactly how it was supposed to work out.
yeah,
And yeah, this film, god damn, dude, it is a tough watch sometimes.
it is. It's not. Most people would not consider it a rewatchable.
No, and with a couple of scenes, Jews are running and they're scared, and the one guy, no, that's actually a different scene altogether. They're just shooting Jews with no remorse in their heart. And then there's another scene where Ralph Fiennes is like in a clock tower or something, and he's got fucking Mozart playing, and he's just shooting completely unaware Jews that they're even
Yeah,
like they're not even aware that they're in danger of being shot at the moment. He's just picking them off like one at a time, and it's just like Jesus Christ, dude, I can't.
yeah.
It's 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 hard to watch, and
It's a
then
brutal. Yeah, it's a brutal film. It's tough to get through.
and at one point they're in line and having a conversation. I can't remember exactly what the conversation was. I just have it written down with the quote here. Ralph is having a conversation with another Nazi and just walks up to an older lady and shoots her in the head and then looks at the guy and just says, "Well, she's dying anyway." Like,
Oh, that was during the Krakow ghetto massacre. And oh, and
yeah, and
it's not Ralph. It's just a typical
it's just
Nazi.
another random
Yeah,
Nazi.
yeah, it's just a random Nazi that
Okay.
because he's like she's good as dead. Leave her. And then he's like, "Come on, just let me
Yeah.
take her inside." And then he shoots her in the head. Yeah,
And
it's
I
not
mean, there's
easy.
just a couple of lines that's just so heartbreaking because again, like I can't remember if they're on the trains or they're going into the gas chambers, but at one point somebody says, "Well, at least the worst is over now."
Yeah, they that's kind of the theme that they the
And
workers
it's like,
fade
god
throughout
damn,
the
it's not
whole.
even
Yeah, yeah.
it's not even close to being over. Like,
I mean, it's just
and then
humans trying to talk themselves into better times, that they have
yeah,
a better future ahead. They just have to suck this up. They just have to put up
exactly.
with this for a little bit, and maybe the
Just
Americans will invade. Obviously, we did eventually, but yeah, it's I could talk about
um
this movie forever, but dude, we're coming up on an hour 40, bro.
yeah, yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Two more things. I thought it was a fantastic performance by Liam Neeson.
He's almost
The one
unrecognizable.
little
Yeah, it's
yeah,
he's so young in that
but
movie.
the one scene at the very end where he's crying, he's like, I could have done more. I could have this watch. I could have
Yeah,
sold this watch and get out.
completely.
I
Yeah,
I just I had so many emotions running through me through the entire film, and especially the very last scene, which I'm going to talk about right after this. But during that scene, I was just like, I'm not it. I'm not buying it. I don't know if he is just not a good on scene crier, or I just that was the only time in the entire movie where I'm like, I am watching an actor act.
yeah. Maybe you've seen Taken too many times or something.
Actually, I've never seen. Well, I've seen the first Taken one time, but
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I despise those movies. Those movies are they're not my style. But the last scene, I mean, honestly, I was like choked up when they show his grave and there's all of the survivors, the actual real
Survivors. Yeah.
survivors are placing the flowers on the, and it's just like, I mean, I literally had like tears in my eyes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, because that's something you don't see in movies. And
Yeah.
obviously this is a different kind of movie where they're, you know, literally not retelling history, but telling history of and actually factual. A lot of times based on a true story doesn't mean shit, right? Based on real events is even worse. But then it's just to then see it, and and then all the color comes back. That they're shooting it in color, and they're actually watching the real people put it on the grave. Like dude, I had tears in my eyes, and like the final picture of all of them was just like, and how many generations have they now had, right? And then how many more
Yeah.
generations will their generations have? And yeah, he saved 1,100 or however many people it was. But from those 1,100, how many other tens of hundreds or thousands of people, were then born because of that?
Yeah.
And it just really, like, it really hit me. It was so that's why I'm not going to argue for it being number one.
Damn straight. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah, you're goddamn right.
You're goddamn right.
So, yeah. So, okay.
Just
So we have
you give
now
this.
finished. Yeah, we're at an hour 42. We kind of dicked around a little bit in the first few minutes, so I'm sure we could cut a little bit out of this.
Yeah,
But
we are.
I thought this was a very succinct, good pod.
It
So,
was a good pod, bro.
as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna finish this up. Um, I'm gonna go over the last 10 rankings, and then I will let Zach introduce the category for the next pod. So, coming in at number 10, no surprise to either of us, Shakespeare in Love. Number 9, English Patient. 10, American Beauty. 7, we decided on Dances with Wolves, and 6, Forrest Gump. Number 5, Unforgiven. 4, Titanic. 3, Braveheart. 2, Silence of the Lambs. And the best 90s Oscar Best Picture winner, in our opinions, is The Schindler's List. And I want to note the basis of the pod, the good stuff of the pod, the meat of the pod is what Zach and I went through between Braveheart and Unforgiven, where I was able to swing him my way
Yeah, yeah.
and put Braveheart at 3 as opposed to 5. And I think that's the most entertaining part of not only for me, but I hope for our listeners. So that is our final 10 here. Zach, what can the listeners look forward to on the next one?
You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm actually not going to tell them shit. I'll let it be a surprise.
Oh,
You can find
I
that
don't
on our
think we ever
page.
have. So I thought
Yeah.
maybe I'd just throw it out there to see if you'd placate to me a little bit. But no,
Yeah.
we're keeping you all in suspense. Again, my name is Jaaron. I'm with my good friend Zach. You've just now listened to the 90s Best Picture podcast of the Average Jives. Please give us a follow and a like on Facebook, Instagram. I normally make a joke, didn't come out that time. And we will let you all listen to us again here next week.
See ya.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow. Harry, fuck.